50-year mortgages. I would never have guessed that the 50-year mortgage got so much attention. It does seem like it has divided the real estate community. Roughly half the community think it is the best thing since sliced bread, and the other half think it is just debt servitude. So we're going to ask Casey and figure out which side of the fence she's on. Casey, 50-year mortgage, good or bad idea?
Bad idea. I think, and I'll say, Michael, I have not watched any of your previous videos on what you think. So I can't wait to get your take. But personally, this is bad. We are already a nation of consumers. This is just turning us more into renter nation. It's going to be false. It's like pretending that you own a home, but really you don't. We are already renting our homes when we have to pay property tax after it's paid off. But now, essentially, we are going to be continuing to pay for the mortgage the lifetime. I just did a post last night on Instagram. You would have to be 10 years old to buy your first home, to pay it off in 50 years, right? So you can retire at 60. Does that not just sound the most ridiculous to you? It's like, hey, kids, time to, I know you're in elementary school, but we don't really have time to learn about frogs and plants. We have to worry about what business you're going to start because you only have a couple years for that down payment. You better ask mommy and daddy, or else you're going to be working until you die because you will have to pay a mortgage. There's just so many things I don't like about it. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah, it's really funny. I actually have a split personality on it. And it's basically who leverages it. Like if I get on the side of the fence where you and I generally live the most, which is investor, I think it's the best thing since sliced bread, right? Investors know that inflation's a feature, not a bug. So why not get a call option on the Fed or the US government being stupid and letting inflation run wild, right? Jason Hartman calls it inflation-induced debt destruction. It's a fancy word for saying inflation's a feature, not a bug. As an investor, I love nothing better than a 50-year loan. Why? Because I'm not paying it. My tenants are. And it increases my cash flow day one. So it's a win-win for investors.
Yeah,
right?
but you have to remember this is for the better of America. Like, where is America, right? Where is America's future headed? And all of us and our children, and yeah, if we're just thinking of like what's good for my bank as an investor, yeah. But overall, as a new thing for America, I think this is trash. I already think the 30-year mortgage and the way amortization and compounding interest is trash. I think it sucks. I think that it's a bunch of crap. Just like credit card interest and how they rape you on that. That's trash too. So there's a lot of things already about the financing industry that I think is just out there to keep us down. This is just another, help in disguise. This is not going to help affordability. You're going to take, as it is a 30-year mortgage, right? You pay for your property twice, once in principal and again in interest. People don't really look at that and think, okay, well, how much, I buy $100,000 house or a $500,000 house. You're really paying $1 million over the lifetime of a 30-year mortgage with interest. Now let's add 20 more years. Basically triple. So now that $500,000 house is $1.5 million. You're never going to pay it off. I had someone in my comments yesterday say, oh, well, Casey, everyone moves every 7 years on average. And I had to say, well, actually, that's old news. It's every 12 years now, but even still with that mentality, that's the wrong mentality. It's almost better to rent really at that point.
Yeah.
In my opinion, than it is now. I will say, right, to your point, and one reason why I really don't think America is going to really pay any debt down is inflation wipes debt away because the value of the dollar over time, decreases and all that. So $1 today is cheaper than $1 tomorrow. And so just keep raising inflation and it kind of erases the debt. So I don't really think that we are going to be seeing a lot of America paying the debt down and all these things. I think we're screwed. I think we've been screwed since 1971 when we changed out of the gold standard. And we don't have any money backed by gold anymore. We've just seen inflation just pretty much straight up incline, like a drop ride at Disneyland. I mean, but going up. I mean, it's just insane. So the only way out of all this, I'm not sure there is a way, but it's definitely to keep inflation going and keep making things cost more. And just like too with the $2,000 for tariffs. I mean, that's just more Biden bucks. I remember Biden bucks, and it's just free money. And my husband works for a speaker company, and their sales spiked during that economic downturn because people just spend money on stupid stuff. So, and I've seen I can go on. I've seen more posts. People say, oh, well, if we go to the 50-year mortgage and you can save the $300 a month on your mortgage payment, if you put that into Bitcoin or you put that into, whatever stocks, nobody's going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's, yeah. So again, I have a split personality on this. For the investors, I've said it, but for homeowners, I think it's the worst thing ever. Right. I think about homeowners, and again, I've studied history back to 1970. And again, when you look at the stats today, the average 65-year-old has $140,000 in net worth. Most of that is their home. It just is. It's a fact. And the other thing, when you think about being retired at 65, and you kind of brought this up, is one of the reasons most people can retire at 65 is their shelter cost is near or is zero. If you roll into 65 years old and all you got Social Security, but you still got a $3,000 mortgage payment because you got a 50-year mortgage, you either work more or you're a forced seller, right? You have to downsize. You have to take the equity because you can't pay the mortgage. You're a forced seller, which means you're going to get taken advantage of by an investor probably. And, you're going to lose, right? You don't want to become a forced seller. Again, it's just a bad idea. And then now let's just get back to the numbers. So first and foremost, I've seen the calculations, right? 30-year mortgage versus 50. And they're like, oh, look, you save $300. Well, that's probably wrong. Because if you understand how time and interest rates work, a 50-year note will not have the same interest rate as a 30-year note, just like a 30-year note doesn't have the same interest rate as a 15-year note. A 15-year note today could be in the 4s. Could be, right? Let's call it 5%. A 30-year note today is 6%. So if a 50-year note is 6.5 or 7%, there goes your $300. Maybe it's $150. Okay, so that's that. Second, the other thing that I think is so comical about this is I think the 50-year mortgage is like rent control. What do I mean by that? Well, if you understand rent control, the first people that get involved with it win. They get the best houses, they get the best units, they lock in their rates, but everybody else loses. So again, we adopt a 50-year mortgage. For the first 12 to 18 months, if you happen to be a home buyer, you're going to win because you're going to see homes appreciate to the payment of a 50-year mortgage, which by my numbers equate to somewhere between 8 and 12%.
Oh my gosh.
Within 18 months, home prices will go up. Let's just call it 10%. Again, if you bought or you already own, like Casey and I, you're going to get 10% net worth pop for free just because 50-year mortgage is the standard. Then you fast forward 2 years, Casey, you're not helping nobody. Gen Z is just as pissed off. Gen Alpha is just as pissed off. Homes go up 10% and there's no benefit. And then you got to go 100 years. And why not just go interest only? Why not rent? Why not become a renter nation? This is such a bad idea for homeowners. It hurts me. And then lastly, to your point, I've seen lots of people say, well, Michael, you don't get it. Even Jason Hartman said, well, I can save the difference and invest it. I'm like, Jason, come on. Like 1% theoretically. Of us. Yeah, theoretically, sure. Yeah, and I can lose weight if I ate less. I get it, right? It's just not how we roll. We're going to use all that money. And we are just setting consumers up to lose. The only people that win with 50-year mortgages are banks. That's the only people that win. Banks win. So I think it's a horrible idea. Horrible idea.
It's so sad. And I've been saying renter nation, we're going to be a renter nation for 5 years. I did not know it was going to be disguised as a 50-year loan.
That's well said, actually. Yeah, the 50-year. I mean, at some point, why don't we just do 30-year interest only loans? Yeah. Let's just do that.
Why don't we just change the way interest works? Yeah. Why don't we not do compounding interest? I think that I think that
Crazy.
sucks. I mean, why not flat interest? I don't know. Something reasonable. I do think that the banks have too much of a stronghold with the mortgage industry, credit cards, even the way they get you at the actual bank where you bank and you give a bank your money, deposit your money to hold so you can use with a card, and they cannot give it back to you. What?
Yeah.
They
At
can
the end of
decide
the
not to give you. I mean, it's
crazy. Yeah.
I,
So
I
the
mean, I
50-year mortgage,
don't know how it works.
the only winner, there's two winners, banks and property owners. I got to tell you, my net worth would go up $2 million, $2.5 million
Yeah.
because of the 50-year mortgage. I don't want it. I don't want it.
No.
It's not good for America.
No.
I don't need it. It's no, thank you. I don't want it. It's just, again, it's one of those things that feel good in the moment. Like it'll feel great for a year. It'll spin up transactions. People will be like, oh, I'm getting in. And then 2 years from now, the next generation, they get effed because now they can't buy. I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? And then, oh, by the way, just because we're here and I'm in a cranky mood, now we're talking about 15-year car loans. Are you freaking kidding
Oh,
me?
I didn't even hear that. Are you serious?
15-year car loans? This is terrible. What are we doing?
Well, okay. So what are the alternatives? Right. So, and I've been thinking of this. What are the options? How do we make affordable? How can we make things affordable again? Are we is America just screwed? Like, what is there to do? I mean, wages have just not increased with everything else. The cost of everything, the amount of things we have to pay for now. I mean, and the style of living, the quality of life that most people are now used to, I will say too, in part because of social media. People think they need all these things. I mean, my mother-in-law was one of 7 kids. She grew up, she was born in the 50s, and she grew up with a 1-bathroom house, and now we have these McMansions everywhere, and that's high property taxes, high monthly payments, $40,000 for a roof. These aren't typical spends. And when the average income is still $100,000 is a pretty good gig. I get it if you live in the Bay Area, like you're poor, but for most of America, $100,000 a year is still good. 100,000 was good 20 years ago when my mom was making that as a nurse. Like, I mean, everything else has gone up so much in price. Wages have not increased. So what are the options then? Instead of just pushing out and drawing out everybody's payments for an infinite amount of time, is there a solution to make things affordable again? I don't just mean housing, I mean life. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Folks, let us know in the comments below 2 things. 1, are you pro or con 50-year mortgage? And then, hey, give us an answer of how to make things more affordable. Casey, where can they find you?
People can find me on YouTube every week, Brick by Brick Wealth, as well as Instagram if you want to DM me, Brick by Brick Wealth. And if you're interested in coaching or seeing what I got going on, you can check me out on my website. Guess what? brickbybrickwealth.com.
You did really well. Brick by Brick Wealth. There you go. Thank you.